how a blunt question from Jesus at the pool of Bethesda can snap you out of victim mode, realign your business with your faith, and set your tone for how you move into 2026. Do you even want to be well? Do you actually want to grow? Or are you just used to complaining about where you're stuck? Today, I'm recording a message from a silent retreat that I go on every year with my prayer group. And this question from Jesus has been wrecking me in the best way. So there's a man who sits by a pool for 38 years, waiting on everyone else, blaming everyone else, while the power to walk is within him. Now, while I have many questions about the whole 38 years, who's feeding you? How are you getting up and going to the bathroom? There's so many things that I couldn't stop questioning and couldn't stop thinking, where in your business are you that man? Still lying on the mat, still waiting for someone to move you. In this episode, we're going to talk about the Bible as the best business book. I've heard this for years, and I never was able to connect the dots until this silent retreat. So Virginia, thank you for connecting the dots. We're going to start this series during Advent with the story of the pool of Bethesda. And the moment you decide, I'm done with the pity party, I'm getting up. Welcome back to Real Talk with Katie Kemp. I'm coming to you fresh off of a silent retreat that I go to every year with my prayer group and just about ready to start the Advent season. So it's quiet on that retreat, as you know. It's uncomfortable, and it's exactly what my soul and my business needed. Now, I don't necessarily go on, or I should say I never have gone on the silent retreat as a business coaching or looking to get insight into my business. It's more on my spiritual side. But I've always heard people say the best business book is the Bible. For years, I honestly didn't know what to do with that. My Bible lived in one world. My P&L, my team, and my strategy lived in another. This week, the retreat director named Virginia shared stories of the Bible that connected my business, my personal and my spiritual journey all together. And I thought, I need to share this realization with y'all. So one of the stories she finally connected the dots for was John 5, verse 2-9. And I'll put that in the show notes if you want to go back and read the actual verse verbatim. And it's the story of the man at the pool of Bethesda. But a quick recap, because I want you to hear it as a founder, not just as a church story. All right. There's a man who's been sick for 38 years. Okay, let's just talk about that. 38 years. Oof. He lies by the pool that people believe has healing powers. And every time the waters are stirred, everyone rises and rushes in front of him, and he never gets there in time. So Jesus walks up to him, doesn't touch him, doesn't lay hands on him like some of the other stories. He just looks him in the eyes and asks one blunt question. Do you want to be well? Not how long have you been here? Not tell me your traumas, tell me your drama. Just do you want to be well? The man answers with excuses. Everyone beats me to the water. No one helps me. I can't get there. And Jesus basically says, stand up, pick up your mat, walk. Like, go home, man. Right? Like, I think if I want to personalize this in my brain, right? And think Jesus is like, dude, enough with your excuses. Like, pick up your mat, go home. Let's go. Let's get on with this thing, right? And there's no dramatic ritual. There's no magic water. Just the command that reveals the power to move is already there. For you, a woman running a real business, this isn't a spiritual story. It's a strategic story, a strategy story, because a lot of us are lying on a very expensive, very sophisticated mat. We're stuck in patterns of victimhood. We're rehearsing why we can't do something. We're watching everyone else beat us to the pool. Today, I want to walk you through how this story kicks off our 4-part December series on Bible verses as business strategy, and invite you to ask, where do I finally pick up my mat and decide I'm not coming back here in 2026. All right, so let's step into this. Let's set the scene. Your pool of Bethesda. If we're honest, where are you just lying there in your business right now? What's your pool? Is it hiring, revenue, offers, money conversations, visibility, leverage? What's the story you tell about why you can't move into that area, or you can't get up, you can't pick up your mat? What's the story you're telling yourself? All right. So now that we've set that scene, let's start naming some of these 38-year patterns, right? So this man sat there for 38 years. Okay. I have, again, many thoughts and many questions of like, who fed you, right? Like I'm going to food first, ladies. So who fed you, right? Does people help those people? You know, how you go in the bathroom? Are you seeing your family? So many questions, right? But bringing it back to the story at hand. So sat there for 38 years. So let's say in business years, that might be 3, 5, maybe even 10 years. You're stuck in the same pattern. How long have you been circling the block, right? How long have you been in that pattern? I don't know about you, but if I think back to where I was 38 years ago, and maybe if you're not that old, think 10, think 5, right? And if you were stuck in that same pattern, what would that look like? What evidence do you have that you're actually ready to do something different and not just talk about it? Now, that question might sting a little bit, so I'm going to ask it again. What evidence do you have that you're actually ready to do something different, not just talk about it? Are you taking steps? Are you picking up your mat, right? It leads me into the thought of the victim script versus honest inventory, right? Listen to the man's answer, right? He blames everybody else, right? They beat me to the pool. No one helps me. Da, 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 like blah, blah, blah. As the mom, I'm like, yeah. Like I'm thinking of my kids complaining about why they can't clean the room, right? What's your version of everyone beating you to the pool? Because it exists, right? I mean, it's in there. We tell ourselves these stories. What's that version? And if you start to strip away blame, what part of this is actually in your control? Because so Jesus' question as a business question, and Jesus says, do you want to be well? I hear a business question. Do you want to grow? Or do you like the safety of being stuck? You like your little mat. It's a little comfy corner, little, comfy section. Where are you saying you want to grow, but your actions prove you're committed to staying exactly where you are, which, leads to the comfort in pain versus the discomfort in change. Sometimes our familiar pain feels safer than the unknown of healing and growth. Where are you more loyal to your discomfort than to your future? That one answer me. What would it cost you to stay on the mat for another year? So side note, every Q4, and actually now I've started to do it throughout the year, I have a fire list. I put down the stuff that I need to fire myself from because I'm not serving my company. I'm not serving my team in the best way possible. I'm stepping into tasks that I should not be doing. So when that question of what would it cost you to stay on the mat for another year, it's got to be a lot. It's got to be a lot because of the growth trajectory and that mindset. And what I love is how in this story, Jesus doesn't add something new, right? He awakens what's already in there. In your business, what strengths, what resources, what relationships are you underusing? Where do you need to fire yourself, right? If you acted like God already placed what you needed inside you, what's the one decision you would finally make? If you were that man on the mat, and God said, walk, go do that thing, right? And you knew with 100% confidence that you had everything you need, you would get up and walk today. What is that? What's that one decision? Because I love that Jesus is just like, pick up your mat, man. Let's go. Don't leave it here. Don't save your spot. Don't come back here tomorrow. Where do you need to remove your backup plan so you can't slide back into your old patterns? What's the one mat you can pick up today, that habit, a relationship, a role, and decide, I'm not coming back to this, is not going into 2026 with me, right? Because it's that business victimhood in disguise, right? It's the business victimhood sounds sophisticated. The market is weird. My team isn't ready. I don't have enough people, or, we need this or we need that. My audience doesn't get it. Where is your victimhood hiding behind your smart language? And how can you start talking about that area with the ownership instead of blame? What I mean by that is take on ownership. How am I getting in the way of my own company's growth? How am I getting in the way of myself? It's a little painful to answer, right? But who are the people you quietly resent because they're moving faster? They're founders, they're influencers, people you see on Instagram, TikTok, choose your poison, your competitors. What would change if you stopped watching their lane and asked, what's my next step? What mat can I pick up? Because most of us like to have a spiritual self and a business self. What would it look like if we actually integrated those to let the story take shape of how you lead, hire, invest, and rest, where you are acting like God cares about your soul, but not your spreadsheet, right? He cares about it all. If Jesus sat eye to eye with you, your desk right now, what do you imagine he'd ask about your business? What's the one sentence of truth you need to hear to move forward? Over the next few weeks, we're going to keep doing this for our Advent season. And really, I want to share with you some of those connection points that I received on the silent retreat, because it was such a beautiful awakening of how to merge the business, the personal, and the spiritual self, show up where we're in true alignment. So over the next few weeks, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to talk about some familiar stories. We got to have Mary and Martha in there, right? Perfectionism versus presence. I want to also share with you about the woman who reaches for the hem, that desperate, quiet faith in motion. And we're going to end up with the walk to Emmaus. And you don't recognize that God is already walking with you in your strategy. And how do these themes already show up in your business story? So as we close the year and look at 2026, where do you need to stop self-beating, stop frantic striving, and start saying, I'm ready to walk differently? What's one aligned, courageous step you're willing to commit to in the next 7 days? I want you to literally say this out loud after this episode, or even right now. Let's go for it. I'm picking up my mat in insert area. I'm not coming back here. Can't tell you how many times over the last, it's been about a week and a half since silent retreat. I'm like, I'm picking up my mat, picking up my mat. And finally, I had to start sharing the story about what I meant, because so many people were like, what are you talking about? Right? So who are you going to tell so you're not doing this alone? So they know what mat you're picking up. I am excited to share with you these moments along my journey. I hope if this hits something tender for you today, I want you to hear this in my voice. I see you. I see the weight you've been carrying, the way you've been quietly beating yourself up against the same wall. It's okay to be tired. It's just not okay to stay stuck. So this week, pick up one mat in your business and decide, I'm not coming back here in 2026. If you want to walk this out with other women who are done with the pity party and ready for aligned growth, subscribe. Share this with a friend. Stay with me for the next 3 episodes in this series and beyond, because we're just getting started. And if you want that PDA, that public display of accountability, put in the comments, what mat are you picking up? What are you not taking into 2026? Let's go. Before we wrap up, if someone in your world needs this conversation, a founder who's carrying a lot and ready for clarity, send this episode to her. These messages land deeper when we share them. And if you're in that space where you know your business can grow, you feel the potential, but the next strategic step isn't fully clear yet, let's talk. You don't need a new identity. You don't need to force a direction. You just need clarity that's aligned with your goals, your numbers, and the life you want to lead. I invite you to book a call with my team. We'll look at where you are, identify the real leverage points, and map the smartest next move, whether that's one of our free resources, a workshop, or deeper support. Clarity creates momentum. Let's get yours. Let's go. The information in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not legal advice. It's not financial advice. It's not investment advice. Real estate development, like any investment, carries risk. Before you make decisions, you should always consult a licensed professional, your attorney, your CPA, or your financial advisor, to name a few, to make sure you're making the right choice for your situation. I'm here to share insights and strategy, but you're responsible for your own decisions, and each situation is unique. So make sure you contact your professional team to give you your specific guidance for your specific case, as each real estate development's different and unique and has its own challenges and opportunities.